What do Elton John and legacy planning have in common? Apparently, kneecaps. Yes, you heard me correctly. After having his knees replaced, Elton John had his old kneecaps turned into jewelry. Now, I guess you could call it eccentric or genius, or I don't know, maybe it's a legacy move, but it begs the question, is turning your body part into bling a creative income strategy, or is it a bold statement about what you're leaving behind, or is it something entirely different? Well, today we are diving into the fascinating world of legacy planning, where some of the assets are not always traditional and your impact will reach far beyond your will. Whether it's wild or wise, we are exploring how people turn what they value into something that lasts. And here to help us decide if this is an heirloom or just a headache is our host, Adam Wolf. You're listening to Jackson's Retirement Coach, and Adam Wolf is a certified financial planner and president of Wolf Retirement Navigation. You can learn more at wolfretirement.com. He's located right here in Jacksonville, Florida. You can also pick up the phone, 904-232-8760. Adam, how are you today?
Doing outstanding. How you doing?
I am doing very well. Now I'm curious, do you have a little countdown to your birthday? Is it like your own little mini advent calendar?
Hold on. Technically, it is my birthday month. I don't celebrate just my birthday, which is December 12th for all the clients listening. No, this is my birthday month. I celebrate it. My significant other, Robin, she celebrates it on the 17th. And then, of course, Jesus and everybody else who we celebrate it with for those December babies. And I do have one client and friend, Skip, if you're listening, happy birthday. We share birthdays. We got the birthday doppelganger.
Wow.
So it's the only December 12th I've seen where I've known the person personally, so it's pretty cool to share a birthday with someone.
I have a cousin.
Not the same year, though, but the same day.
That's amazing. I have a cousin whose birthday is on Christmas Day, and I always thought that would be so cool, but then I realized she probably gets shortchanged a lot, where people are like, here's your birthday/Christmas present. So I told her.
My parents tried it.
Did they?
It worked because you didn't know any better.
Right. I told her she should celebrate her half birthday, just June 25th, yep. Say, this is my half birthday and I'm going to celebrate.
Yeah, we had one of those at my mom and dad. We had a birthday for me in June, and because all the kids, Christmas holiday was coming up,
right.
And all the kids were, we were getting out of school, and it was just difficult to host a party because we'd always be traveling. So, but anyway.
Well, clients, if you're not traveling, swing by and say hi to Adam on his birthday. So it makes up for those childhood shortchanging. Well, I read that article about Elton John, and I promise I won't send you kneecaps for your birthday, but I thought it made for an interesting conversation and wanted to know if that could be considered a creative income strategy. He is actually selling those.
That's the weirdest thing I've heard. So I didn't know we were going to be talking about Elton John's kneecaps, but we are. So, but I'm going to segue into, I'm all about the fundamentals. And really, you can use the football analogy. If you don't get the blocking and the tackling right, it doesn't matter how good your quarterback is, how great your receiver is. If you don't block and tackle, you're going to lose the game. Or you don't block and tackle better than the other team, you're going to lose the game. So
sure.
It comes back down to income strategies. When we build them out, we start with a few things. We look at Social Security, we look at pension if you have it, and then also what you've saved and how to turn that into income to live off of, and to take draws out of your portfolio to live off of it when you're no longer working and no longer have that income source coming in. So that is what we're going to look at. I mean, if there's unique situations where clients are not necessarily doing what Elton John did, but I have had folks, hey, I have all this jewelry. I had a client come in the other day. His mother is now in assisted living, has dementia. They have a bunch of jewelry, so they sold the jewelry to have some additional funds for her care, because she wasn't going to use the jewelry anymore. And then also the other family members really didn't want it. So, based on what her wishes were for the will and stuff. So long story short, we got to focus on the fundamentals for retirement. We have to have a plan in place to meet our income needs. And that's what we have to do versus going out and looking at all that weird stuff.
Fair enough. I do have to ask, is jewelry the wildest thing you've ever seen turned into an inheritance planning? Certainly not kneecap jewelry, but hear stories of like coins and stamps, and are those things, stuff that people bring to you and go, I don't know what to do with this?
They don't necessarily bring it to me, but I've heard some clients. I've actually had one prospective client. She never became a client, but she's like, my husband buried money in the backyard. I kid you not.
My goodness.
And she goes, well, we're gonna locate it. We don't know how much it is, but it's because I was asking her. So we were going through a list of all of her different, assets and income streams, and taking an inventory. And I said, is there anything else? And she goes, oh yeah, there's money buried in the backyard. So
wow,
that's a little weird. I mean, I've heard of folks having to sell the horses prior to because nobody was able to care for the horses anymore. It's sort of sad. And then I've heard about the people who an aunt passed away and they had a cat, a dog, and a pot-bellied pig. And so they were able to, rehome the cat and the dog. But, there's not a huge rehoming market for pot-bellied pigs from what I found out. Now, I didn't have anything to do with that. This is just stories. This is part of the joy of what I do. I get to hear all this stuff. So, but no, pot-bellied pigs are not middle-aged pot-bellied pigs aren't like
aren't in high demand.
So, not in high demand, and cute usually go together with animals. So.
Well, I read this statistic on Morningstar that showed 19% of baby boomers and Gen Xers don't even know if their family has a will. And 42% of millennials and Gen Z, on the other hand, are expecting an inheritance, but nobody's discussing it. How do you open that conversation with a client?
Yeah, I mean, it's true. And I bet if they turned it around and asked the Gen Xers and the Gen Z and the millennials, if they have a will, they're going to say no, because most folks don't have a will. And, at a minimum, we need to have a will. That's where we want our stuff to go. We want to have a living will. Do we want to be, plugged in, not plugged in, food, water, what our wishes are there, our medical power of attorney. That's why we're alive. If we can't make decisions upon our own medically, somebody there is there to do that with the hospitals and the doctors. And also durable power of attorney, that's the financial power of attorney while you're alive to make those financial decisions on your behalf. That's huge. Those four things, and then also DNR, do not resuscitate if that's what your wishes are. Those are like the block and tackle. Those are the fundamentals. Need to have that at place at a minimum. And then some people then go, hey, do I need a trust? And that's when, having an attorney, we work with a couple of great attorneys, and all they do is specialize in estate planning with these types of issues. And so that it's huge because, at the end of the day, you want to have your stuff go to where you want it to go, whether it's your kids, your family, your favorite charity, wherever it is, to go efficiently. And so, sometimes you need more than a will. Sometimes you just need to make sure your beneficiary designations are updated on your IRAs and your life insurance. And then also, sometimes it may take more, maybe a living trust or something more than that. And so it all depends on what your goals and your situation is to right size it. But I could tell you, having it is a lot easier than not having it, and then trying to go through the courts through probate. It can be time consuming and a pain in the you know what.
There's an interesting phenomenon, and it's certainly not to single out any generation, but a lot of research shows that Gen X is very resistant to sitting down and having financial planners or even having those conversations. And Gen X is a little bit older than me, but I try to take my own experience into consideration. And I feel like there's a little bit of, I don't know, it almost feels like hopelessness in that generation, perhaps, of we've seen, our parents go through corporate America and, start into retirement, and retirement feels, one, far away. I think it's easy to sort of check that box and go, oh, it's not happening to me now. But the oldest Gen Xers are going to be, 60 this coming year, and it's a lot closer than you think. But it feels like there isn't a retirement option. What do you you say to the people that go, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get to retire? Because we don't know if Social Security will be there by the time, the youngest Gen Xers get up there. And we don't have pensions like previous generations do. And things are more expensive. So we're not able to put as much in our 401k. Do you have advice for that generation?
I mean, I get it because I'm there. I'm like at the lowest rung for Gen X. I'm in it. Turned 48 in December. So my goal here is working with folks who are nearing and in retirement, and their kids. So most of those folks were raised by, or their grandparents were Depression era folks, and a lot of Depression era folks didn't spend any money at all, and so they saw that. The folks that I work with, a lot of them saw that, so they were more conservative, not in their political views, but in their savings views,
sure,
and how they save money. And so, whereas with their kids, maybe Gen X, and then the millennials and whatever the heck they're called after that, I have no idea. Like my daughter's 12, Belle's 12 now. I don't even know what she's called, other than Belle. So, but so we have these groups, and everybody's a little bit different. All I can say is save. You got to be able to save as much as possible. There's a couple things that are coming. Gosh, I think 13 to 16 trillion, depending on what study you look at or how it's parsed, of IRAs, tax-deferred retirement programs out there, trillion with a T, wow, of assets that are out there for not only people who are the owners of them, but if they don't spend all that asset, they're going to pass it on. So there's going to be a lot of assets transferring to the kids or to the nieces, the nephews, and making sure. What's the most important thing here is, if they're your assets, you need to make sure what you want to have happens. If you have a niece and a nephew who can't manage money, or you have a son who you might like the wife, but they may be on this in all seriousness heading towards divorce, you want to have these things set up to where it passes the right way, in the most efficient way, not only the way you want it to be, but the most efficient way from a tax and investment perspective. And that's what we get involved with our clients on a day-to-day basis, and making sure, everything that you have is geared towards what your goals are for it. And that's it. Moves over time. It changes over time as families change and get old. People get older. I have some clients that have special needs trusts for their adult children because they can't make decisions on their own. So we get attorneys involved to have those trusts documented and drafted, and so it really depends on what you want. But for anybody who's under the age of the boomers, it is all about saving. If you save as much as possible, and then just use compound interest to grow it. And that's a miracle is compound interest. So that's all I can say. And then, you can't rely on inheritances when we plan, but if something's coming down the pike for you, you want to make sure you do it efficiently and not make mistakes with IRA rules or penalties that could come with not taking the money out when you need to take it. And so we need to be cognizant and aware of that when we make decisions.
And for those Gen Xers that are on the top end of that spectrum, that are closing in on 60, how soon should they start sitting down with a financial advisor and thinking about retirement? Even if it's not until 67 or 70, is it too soon for them to come in and have a conversation?
Yeah, it's sooner rather than later. And that's just not because I'm saying that because I want to meet new people. It's because if you get ahead of it, you can fine-tune some things to either save more or save it more efficiently or cut fees or start to bring some, organization to the plan, to a plan, and having what you want to have done, put on paper with a written plan. And that's what we do. And I meet with people 55, 60, 59, all these different ages. but multiple years in advance of retiring at a minimum.
In addition to being December being your birthday month, we also know that it marks the end of the year. Is it too late for people to get that end of the year checkup or that end of the year consultation with you so that they make sure that everything's good to go? They're not missing any opportunities to maybe make some last minute changes to their portfolio to take advantage of, certain tax things. What should they be doing? Is there still time?
I mean, clients, obviously, it's anytime you want to meet with us. But for folks who are not clients, give us a call. We can have at least start a conversation. There's some things that can be done before December 31st to make sure we get things accomplished. And but if you're a client, Roth conversion planning, RMDs need to be taken out before the end of the year. And then Eileen and Caroline and I are reaching out to clients if we haven't already to make sure we get those end of the year things taken care of.
Well, I hope that you have an incredible birthday month. I love that you spread it out to celebrate the whole month. And if you're listening and want to schedule that consultation with Adam and his team to just make sure that you are on the right path for the end of the year so you can start 2026 off on the right foot, or perhaps you just need to sit down and have that conversation about what your legacy is and where you want it to go, reach out to Adam at wolfretirement.com. Again, that is wolfretirement.com. Or you can pick up the phone and call 904-232-8760. And as always, we encourage you to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Learn all these fun tidbits about when Adam's birthday is and how he celebrates, but also, more importantly, all of the valuable information that he is so willing to share. You can also follow him on IG, and be sure to come back next episode. Adam, thank you so much. Any final thoughts?
Melissa, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Happy December to everybody, and looking forward to speaking with people.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Investment advisory services offered through Coil Capital LLC, a registered investment advisor. Wolf Retirement Navigation LLC and Coil Capital LLC are not affiliated. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. No investment strategy can guarantee a profit or protect against loss in periods of declining values. Opinions expressed are subject to change without notice and are not intended as investment advice or to predict future performance. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Consult your financial professional before making any investment decision. This information is designed to provide general information on the subjects covered. It is not, however, intended to provide specific legal or tax advice and cannot be used to avoid tax penalties or to promote, market, or recommend any tax plan or arrangement. Please note that Wolf Retirement Navigation LLC and its affiliates do not give legal or tax advice. You are encouraged to consult your tax advisor or attorney. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurer. Any references to protection or benefits or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products or services. Fixed insurance and annuity product guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company and not offered by Coil Capital LLC. Florida Insurance License Number W016816.